Well, yesterday, the first robo-taxi rides have begun in Austin. And, of course, this is not completely unusual. We know we've been running robo-trucks between Dallas and Houston for several months now, but this is going to be the first robo-taxi ride. Now, the interesting thing about this robo-taxi ride is the fact that they do still have a human safety officer in every cab. Sort of a waste of manpower from my standpoint, because nobody knows about robo cars better than Tesla. There's nobody out there that knows more about electric cars than Tesla, and there's nobody out there that builds better batteries than Tesla. So all of that aside, the first robo taxis are running. Got a little video here for you. The other thing that we want to consider about robo taxis that I personally really do like is I travel a lot. Occasionally I travel in strange cities. And I have had on more than one occasion a taxi driver take me the long way around in order to raise the fare. And of course, they assume you don't know what you're doing. What they don't know is that I actually have satellite navigation, Waze, W-A-Z-E. It's a free app. You can get it on any phone. I have that on my phone. So I'm already tracking this guy. But it's interesting to see how some cab drivers will take you the long way around just to get a bigger fare. So I'm happy with the robo-taxi situation. I realize there are taxi drivers that are now going to have to find other means to support themselves. But it's not like you have to go to college for a long time to become a taxi driver. So you might have to learn some new skills. I was listening to some other woman. She did a video this past week, and she was just bemoaning the fact that she has to work so hard and that she's not getting any raises. And, of course, I understand that for everyone, your mountain is your mountain. And I've looked at people and they're complaining about stuff that I'm saying, are you kidding me? That's nothing. But then I realize that the mountain to them is exactly that. It is a mountain. Because they've never gone through anything really difficult. Therefore, the minor stuff looks really difficult. Everything is a matter of contrast and experience. Just like if you've never heard anything but a transistor radio, then anything above that, like a Bose radio, for instance, will be considered high fidelity. But if you've had a high fidelity system and you listen to a Bose system, you say, wow, that sounds like a transistor radio with bass. So, you know, it's just a matter of experience. And her experience was she never had a hardship in her life. And the one thing she didn't understand is if you want a raise, you need to give yourself one. Now, how do you give yourself a raise? Well, what I've learned in my years of life is, number one, if you really want a raise, you have to become indispensable. You have to reach the point where they can't operate without you, in which case then they're happy to give you a raise if they think there's any chance you're leaving. Now, a couple of times that hasn't worked out well for me, and I've ended up leaving, but I always left for something better and that paid better. So you make yourself worth more money, and that's how you get more money. And chances are the experiences you gain while you're making yourself worth more money might put you into a position where you can own your own show and run your own business. How about that? So anyway, robo-taxis in Austin, I think it's okay. Nothing to worry about here. You might want to take one the next time you have to travel.
You can also listen to your music. So this is actually connected to my thing with my account. And I was listening to Metallica on my Cybertruck. And because I connected with my account, the app, the robo-taxi app, it just preloaded all the settings that I have tied to my account, to my profile on my Cybertruck. And yeah, it's just so smooth, just no drama, hanging out. There's no driver. There's no like ghost person up there for all the people that are like, you need LiDAR to get this going. You can control the AC. If I want to turn this into an icebox, I can, but I won't because I don't want to, freeze us both to death. So, yeah. So there is my quick reaction on my second robo-taxi ride.
Now, I'm not talking a lot about the Iran situation right now because it's obvious they are in no position to do any serious retaliation. Therefore, it's not really a big deal to me. The economy is interesting. The Federal Reserve, which is not federal, it's a privately owned bank of mostly European heritage. And they don't have a reserve that we know of because they've never been audited since they were instituted back in, 1913, I think. But the Federal Reserve decided to keep interest rates steady at 4.25, which is really high. That means that every time you buy a pack of gum, these European families get a piece of that action. But it points to progress and signs of the fight against inflation, because beneath the headlines, the message was clear: the fight is not yet over. Might get harder before it gets easier. We will see. Recent projections from the San Francisco Fed indicate that the inflation could rise again near term, especially as proposed tariffs inject new uncertainty into the market. That's what they love to tell you. But it's not really turning out that way. On paper, inflation still looks tame. The headline PCE index rose just 0.1% in March and April, and core inflation, excluding food and energy, is still sitting at 2.6%, and it's not moving as much. They exclude food and energy because, as you know, food and gas have been getting cheaper. The stickiness suggests that the real cost of living is not improving for most Americans yet. And it really irks me because Donald Trump's been president for about 4 months now, and he hasn't fixed everything that it took the leftists 4 years to screw up. But if tariffs do drive up the cost of imported goods, that means buying American might become very interesting. The Fed is cornered. Cutting rates now risks reigniting inflation, which of course won't happen. Raising rates risk breaking growth. That's entirely possible. Holding steady does little to resolve either. So the Feds are holding steady. Meanwhile, average Americans are still trying to navigate higher prices, tighter credit, and an uncertain future, all the while the dollar is quietly losing purchasing power. Gold doesn't rely on policy or politics. It doesn't require a rate cut or political consensus. It doesn't answer to Washington or Wall Street, and that's why it continues to attract investors that are looking for stability. So I do recommend that you invest in gold. But the point is, inflation is not going up. And they keep telling you it will. They keep telling you that the tariffs are going to ruin your life. But the truth is, it's not going to ruin your life. The truth is, the cost of living is going down, and it's going to continue to go down. And oil, America has energy dominance in all of these areas. Oil, clean-burning coal. The only real problem we have, which is a blight on the landscape, are those big fans. And when you drive around, you'd be surprised at looking at how many of these multi-billion-dollar fans aren't even turning. So that's an issue. Now this. You know, we need people to remember us and think good things about us every day. We need to give gifts to friends, loved ones, and customers. And that's why you need to go see my friends, Brian and Christina, at crazinesscreations.com. There you will find amazing custom t-shirts, coffee mugs, and incidentals that are going to make their day. You can find a t-shirt for your honey from the great Stylized Owl collection, or something for your friend or client or customer to cement your relationship for years to come. Don't forget, you have to get reelected to be grandma, grandpa, aunt, or uncle of the year, and that requires gifts. So crazinesscreations.com gives you an inexpensive way to engender warm and loving feelings for a lifetime. crazinesscreations.com, crazinesscreations.com, crazinesscreations.com. Go there today. Get those goodies for your friends, loved ones, and clients. You won't regret it, and they're going to remember you. For those of you wondering about the church shooting on Sunday up there in Michigan, Cross Point Community Church, here's some new info. The 31-year-old man who was the alleged attacker at the Cross Point Community Church in Wayne, Michigan, was seen driving erratically in the parking lot as he exited the vehicle. Several parishioners noticed he was wearing a tactical vest and wielding a rifle. Turns out this is the church where his mother goes, and he had gone there a couple or three times. The man apparently was mentally ill, so this has nothing to do with terrorism or Iran bombings or anything. A parishioner struck the gunman with his vehicle as the gunman shot the vehicle repeatedly. At least 2 staff members also shot at the gunman, causing fatal wounds. Authorities now reveal that Brian Anthony Browning from Romulus, Michigan, was the guy. We don't know. He's obviously mad at his mother and perhaps others at the church. He had an AR-15. He had multiple magazines, and apparently he was going to shoot up the church. But guess what? Churches today are a lot more prepared than they used to be. So Nothing to worry about here. There were 2 armed parishioners that were on staff that shot him, and then you've got the other guy that just said, "Holy crap," and drove his truck over him, and that was the end of that. So in the end, the only person that was killed was the guy who came to do the killing. And once again, prepared parishioners did the job. If you're not a concealed carrier, I'd be surprised, but you should be carrying all the time, and particularly in church. And I can tell you that the churches that I attend, there are always several well-armed members there that are prepared to do business with any wrongdoers. So keep that in mind. In other news, over in Israel, there's a new subdivision going in. It's called Ramat Trump. That translates into Trump Heights. It's a planned Israeli settlement in the Golan Heights named after and in honor of Donald Trump, the 45th and 47th President of the United States. He was also the 46th President. He just wasn't allowed to take his seat because of nefarious evildoers. But I digress. Anyway, it's widely regarded as going to be a very popular new subdivision. It'll be under the jurisdiction of the Golan Regional Council. It is the first community in Israel to be named after a sitting American president since Kafar Truman many years ago. As of December 24, Trump Heights was the home to about 70 adults and 60 children under the age of 13, but it's going to be growing, and it's going to be big and beautiful. Freedom1300.com doesn't run on sunshine and well water, my friends. We need you. First of all, please share this show and the station on all of your social media. The Golden Triangle is on the cusp of the best decade in history, and we need you to be part of it. We need you to advertise right here on Freedom 1300 AM in Beaumont. If you are the best at what you do and your client base is in the Golden Triangle or southwestern Louisiana, this is the place for you to be advertising. It's inexpensive and affordable. Call me, Doc, today at 281-914-1331 and join the team at AM 1300. We still need a major sponsor with studio naming rights. We need a sponsor for the 1-hour show every Saturday. You can call Doc at 281-914-1331 and get in on the ground floor with AM 1300. Be sure to tell your friends at church, Rotary, at BMI, the Lions, the Eagles, the American Legion, and the VFW. AM 1300 is the place to be. You have a choice, and you chose Freedom 1300.